Sometimes bad directors make bad movies. Sometimes good directors make bad movies. And other times, studios turn good movies into bad movies. The more and more I look about it, the more I'm interested in David Ayer, the director, writer of Suicide Squad, along with other pretty good films, I'll admit. Fury, he wrote Training Day. Suicide Squad obviously was not received too well. I'd be lying if I said I liked the movie. I don't. And I'm hearing him talk about it more on Twitter. I'm hearing him talk about it on a podcast with Jon Bernthal, that the movie he made, that he wrote, he envisioned, was drastically different from the Suicide Squad we got. We have our first piece of actually interesting info in the fact that the Snyder Cut exists. The fact that the studio took that original cut of what Zack Snyder made and completely changed it to what they put out and we the audiences got. And when you think about it and you look at the tone of the films that David Ayer has made in the past, they don't really line up at all with what the Suicide Squad is. The way he explains it on Real Ones with Jon Bernthal is that he made this version of Suicide Squad that was darker and grittier and a lot more character focused, a lot more personal. And the studio, they kind of panicked when Deadpool came out, a rated R film that very lighthearted, right? Very lighthearted. And then with the release of Batman vs Superman, which they didn't screen test. When that didn't do that good, they panicked and they changed the whole entire cut of Suicide Squad with reshoots, edits, things like that. What's sad about it too is that a lot of the things that David Ayer says on Twitter, there are some toxic people there, some toxic film fans, comic book fans who are just
shut up, you can't say anything because you made Suicide Squad. Shut up, you suck at making movies because you made Suicide Squad.
Which, first of all, even if that was true, negates the good movies that he's made, but also it's starting to sound like he's not even directly responsible for Suicide Squad being of the quality it is. I made a video on it a little while ago about how directors can't miss, because once they do, people just throw that back in their face. Taika Waititi being the other example of this with Love and Thunder, tarnishing the incredible reputation he had of Thor Ragnarok, Jojo Rabbit, Hunt for the Wilder People, things like that. And it's sad, man. I really do feel bad for David Ayer because, first of all, it sucks that he is just the scapegoat. He's the one that Suicide Squad got pinned on, and that a lot of people are, trolls, sure, but some people genuinely are blaming him for that movie, and he seems pretty genuine about it. I think he's telling the truth. Even if his cut of the Suicide Squad isn't Citizen Kane, but even if it's marginally better, that's still damaging his reputation. It's still different from what the audiences got and how it affected, a lot of the legacy of DC. David Ayer was saying that there even were talks of him taking over DC in kind of the role that James Gunn and Peter Safran have now. But once Suicide Squad was released, that just stopped and that got shut down. But Suicide Squad wasn't even his cut. The version of Suicide Squad that got bashed wasn't even the one that he made. That's messed up, dude. That's so messed up. And yeah, sure, he could just be a director being trust me, my movie's really good. But he just seems like a genuine person. And from seeing what he is saying about it on Twitter, he's very open about it. He has interacted with some of these cinephiles, these film bros who are coming at him, and he's very transparent about the situation that it was in, and he's been very real about it. And I really respect that. He's not sugarcoating anything. He's just being real about it. And it at least seems that he's being honest. And on the podcast, which I highly recommend, in a time right now where studios being jerks and sucking is at an all-time high, I just wanted to spend a second to highlight a writer and director who is talented. Undoubtedly, he's talented. Again, even if his cut of Suicide Squad's bad, he's still talented with his past work. I wanted to highlight him and talk about how this thing probably happens in the movie industry way more than we might think. Suicide Squad at least is a big enough movie to where people are still talking about it and where people still care. And it sucks that this might happen to directors who aren't as big as David Ayer, who might not have a Training Day or a Fury to fall back on, an End of Watch, to say oh yeah, I messed up, but look at my track record. Let me prove myself even though my misstep wasn't my fault. I'm sure there are writers and directors who were smaller and who just lost their career, or their career was just pushed back years because they didn't have those big movies to come back on. And that really sucks. That really sucks. And this podcast kind of just like further gave me more evidence that Hollywood's a business, you know, and at the end of the day, a lot of people are business minded and they want to make money, and that sucks because it inhibits some creative people like David Ayer. Let me know what you think of the Ayer cut and the whole situation. The Suicide, not the Suicide Squad, just Suicide Squad. Thanks for watching. New videos daily. I'll talk to you tomorrow.